Hey, what's up, lowlifes? Welcome to another episode of Highlights and Lowlights, where we take a look at the ups and downs, the best and worst, the highlights and lowlights of each Bills game. In this video, I'm going to be talking about the Bills' 48-20 win over the Miami Dolphins to take first place of the AFC East and to just make a dominant statement. There's a lot of places I could go with it, but it's Miami Dolphins versus Buffalo Bills, so you already know Josh Allen's getting a highlight. For some reason, when he sees this team on the schedule, Josh Allen just balls out of control, and this week was no exception. Josh Allen was 21-25, threw for 320 yards, 4 touchdowns, ran one, no interceptions, just an all-around amazing game from Josh. And another good mix of taking what the defense gave him and then being aggressive when he saw something. Josh Allen did a really good job of improvising in this game. Like, he was still under control and he was really just using his legs to extend plays and give his guys extra time to get open. And obviously the number one person that he has that connection with is Stefon Diggs, and he's getting a highlight. In the past, we've seen Stefon Diggs have impressive performances against the Dolphins as well, so it just was more of the same. 6 catches, 120 yards, 3 touchdowns. Jalen Ramsey was hurt, and for some reason the Dolphins were way too comfortable having this corner that I've never heard of just on an island with Stefon Diggs, and it did not go well. And Josh and Diggs just exploited that matchup all game. So yeah, everybody, let's all toast to Stefon Diggs. I've been really critical of him so far this season, but I have to give Ken Dorsey his credit. Ken Dorsey absolutely gets a highlight for this game. He had a lot of motion and putting people in positions to get favorable matchups. There was better play calling on first and second downs, which means that we weren't put into third and long situations so often. I like how Ken Dorsey used Dalton Kincaid in this game. He was a little bit further up the field. He was more like how Cole Beasley has been used in this offense traditionally, just like a safety blanket. He just find an open spot in his zone and just get to the first down marker. Then there's the Gabriel Davis touchdown was beautifully drawn up as well. Like, I'm liking what I'm seeing from Dorsey, and if it took a couple weeks for this offense to get going, I'm not mad at that. Like, he's adding new wrinkles as the season goes along, and I'm really excited for what this offense could be. And I mean, I have to do the same thing and give McDermott a highlight for what he did on the defensive side of the ball. Just an incredible game plan. I've been on this show every week giving credit to McDermott and this defense. There was criticism, like, who have the Bills actually played? They had the Jets with Zach Wilson. They had the Raiders with Jimmy Garoppolo. They had Washington with Sam Howell. They didn't face any real competition. Well, in this game, the Bills held the Dolphins, who were averaging over 40 points a game, to just 20. I was considering giving the defense a low light for those first couple drives where Miami was just going down and scoring and matching the Bills touchdown for touchdown. But the adjustments that McDermott made, that's a part of the story. There's a term in fight sports, boxing, MMA, called downloading information. And that's just where a high IQ fighter will just kind of sacrifice a couple rounds to see what their opponent is throwing, see their cadence, and all of that type of stuff. And then they've got them figured out down the stretch for the rest of the fight. Floyd Mayweather is a big person that uses that. Like, he'll give you 2 or 3 rounds, and then you will not win another one. And I just feel like that was what Sean McDermott did. His adjustments were the reason that the Bills won the game. The Dolphins were matching the Bills. They scored on their first 2 drives, 14 points, quick drives. But on their last 9, they only scored 1 more time. They had an interception. There was a fumble in there. They had to punt. The Bills defense figured out this Dolphins offense, and that cannot be stressed enough how incredible that is. They scored 70 points last week. Coming into this game, Tua was only sacked once, but the Bills defense had 4 sacks, and they were all from the front 4. Shout out Rousseau. He had 2 sacks. Ed Oliver had 1. Daquan Jones had 1. They're looking like a scary tandem up front. Just the whole front 4. Kingsley Jonathan was a surprise to some people when he made the roster. When he played today, he really made an impact. He had a couple pressures. He didn't come away with a sack, but he had a couple pressures. He was back there. And Von Miller is still on the way back. I think his practice window is about to open, so we still have a couple weeks to decide when we're going to put him in the lineup. But right now, that defensive line is looking really good. Just imagine that defensive line with Von Miller added to it. And again, for special teams, I have to give a highlight to Tyler Bass. Just perfect once again. 6 for 6 on extra points, 2 for 2 on field goals. He just doesn't miss. And the Bills have so much faith in him. They brought him out to kick a 53-yard field goal with like a minute left in the second quarter. If he missed it, the Dolphins would have had a short field to work with, but 53 yards, good, without a doubt. would have been good from 63. He's just locked in this season. My last highlight I have to give to Bills Mafia once again. I gave the fans one last week just for how well they traveled and really took over for that Washington game. And for this home game, the atmosphere was electric. I couldn't be there with you guys. Couldn't really get it in the budget. We got some other things planned for the season, so I couldn't waste it on going to this game, but Tyreek Hill basically challenged us by saying that the Bills fan base wasn't unlike any other fan base. They're not particularly loud. And Sean McDermott said that this was the loudest he's ever heard it since he's been there. They had to use hand signals to get some of their plays off because it was like they couldn't even hear it in the headsets. You could feel it through the TV. Like this game meant something to everybody. And everybody was loud. All right, time for lowlights. These are going to be quick because the Bills just were so dominant, did so many things right. This is really kind of nitpicking if I have to do it. The Bills' run defense. Kane is going to be a special player. He's a former track star. We just had no answer for his speed. Kane had 8 rushes for over 100 yards, 2 touchdowns. Again, I'm nitpicking here because they had to abandon the run game because we were up by so many points. This defense is looking dominant. If there is a weakness, that's 2 straight weeks where the opponents had a good ground game. We've been up by enough points that they stopped running the ball, but they are running the ball well on us. Just something to keep in mind. And our run game wasn't really anything special. Despite James Cook scoring his first touchdown of the season, having to get pushed by Josh Allen to get there, he just wasn't really running the ball that effective this game. 12 rushes and just 29 yards. Cook is normally one of the top yards per carry running backs in the NFL, so it wasn't a great showing from him. His biggest contribution of the day was in the passing game. On a broken play, he kind of got loose. Josh Allen found him, and he took it maybe 40, 50 yards. But just on the ground, it wasn't his day. Latavius Murray was running well. Other than that, we didn't really have much of a ground game. And then the last low light is a sad one, a somber one really. Tre'Davious White going down with an injury. They're saying it's going to be a torn ACL, like just by the looks of it. It was non-contact injury. He knew immediately, and everybody was just so remorseful in their post-game press conference. So it doesn't sound good. He worked so hard to come back from a torn Achilles, and they're saying this is the other one. So just all around, just pray for Trey. Christian Benford also got hurt, but he returned in the game. I could give a low light to McDermott for not having Kaiir Elam active all season. I don't know what that's about. There must be something that they're not telling us because he played well down the stretch last season. He got an interception in the playoffs against Miami even. He's a good player when given opportunities. I'm cool with Benford beating him out for the starting job. I just don't know how he's not even active. We had 2 injuries in the secondary. Of course, he's going to be active now, let's just hope he makes the most of the opportunity. But yeah, that was a great win. Satisfying. Dominant on the offensive side of the ball. Dominant on the defensive side of the ball. Like, it was just a statement win. The Dolphins are an exciting team. They're fun. They're fast. Their offense is going to put up points. But the division still runs through Buffalo. Like, there's a gap between us. They are talented. That's a wild card team. But that championship level, they're not there yet. And that's what the Bills are striving for right now. And as good as this win feels, it's week 4. We're in first place in the division. We did not win the division. It is still a lot of season left to go. The Bills can't get complacent. There's been times where we've had our regular season championship, and it's been us beating the Chiefs in the regular season the last couple of years. Like, that's the emotional highlight of the year. And then we take our foot off the gas a little bit. The Bills have to keep their foot on the gas, keep stacking wins, keep stacking momentum, keep doing what they're doing. Right now, the Bills are locked in, the best team in the AFC. Like, the Bills are rolling right now on offense and on defense. So again, as great as this win feels, we've got Jacksonville next week, London, 9:30 in the morning here. So, like a brunch and Bills type situation. Maybe there's a place doing that. I haven't heard anything, but that would be dope. So if you see me around town with a mimosa, like, it is what it is. Say hi. Or don't. You didn't see me, actually. Until then, stay low.